Hey, what's going on, guys? Shinmo here, and today I just wanted to talk about League of Maidens a little bit. It's a free game that just came out on Steam. It's still in its alpha stage, so yeah, I wanted to give it a quick look. So I played, of course I wasn't like doing YouTube videos at the time, but I played Scarlet Blade when it first came out, and that was basically the same idea. You know, MMO, boobs everywhere, things like that. That, you know, to get you playing the game, they use the boobs to get you. But you know, I was just looking at League of Maidens to see, is this just Scarlet Blade Part 2? Basically, this is just a soulless MMO, just with boobs slapped on there to get you to play it and maybe spend some money. So I wanted to look at that today, explore that today. So let's get into it. So with League of Maidens, I have to say I think the graphics are pretty solid. I mean, it's not gonna blow you away or anything, but it is a really solid looking game. I mean, the designs too are pretty good. A lot of it's pretty generic, but I mean, the thing is they do work. Like, you can't take that away that it does have functional design and the graphics are solid at least. And then the audio is also good quality as well. You got some decent voice acting there. Not great. They could have hired me. I would have done a better job. You know, for the most part, the audio is good quality as well. I mean, it's a solid game presentation-wise. It's not so bad. And then you also have pretty free movement as well, both of your attacks, and you know, you can use guns or you can use melee weapons. It's pretty nice. I think devs definitely caught on that the whole like stilted movement. You know, click on things to attack them and stuff like that. That's not very fun, honestly. And so they have you know, you got your sprint, jump, slide, things like that, a dodge button as well, so it's not bad. We'll get into why this is a little flawed later, but I mean, the core mechanics are there, and you know, you gotta appreciate that. It's not just walk around and click on enemies and then walk away from your computer. I do have to say that there were minimal hard bugs. By that I mean like hard crashes and things like that. Like, it is a buggy game because I mean, it's an alpha. You know, there was like minimal hard crashes and things like that, and you know, things that made the game unplayable. There weren't really any of those. I was pretty happy with that, honestly. I was expecting more of those. And then we get to the story. Of course, with MMOs, and then you know, booby games like this, people don't really care about the story. But it has to be said that it is a pretty ambitious story so far. I mean, it's pretty generic, the setup. But then when you get into some of the twists and turns later, it seems pretty interesting, actually. So you got to give them credit for doing something a little more ambitious. And leading into that, the devs really seem like they care. You know, it's something that was definitely missing from Scarlet Blade for sure. The devs seem very passionate. They got tons of tutorials out, you know, fully voiced over tutorials and everything. And, you know, setups for characters, you know, explain to you what characters do, how to use certain mechanics and things like that. If you click on something in game, a YouTube video will pop up that explains it perfectly and things like that. I think a lot of games, not just MMOs, a lot of games could really benefit from that. And it seems like they're putting a lot of effort into that. But it does have to be said, you know, is that all just an act, and like they're gonna just take the money they get from this alpha and run, essentially? Or do they really want to be in here for the long haul? So, okay, I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but yeah, the customization in this game is absolutely awesome. You know, I'm gonna mention the outfits aren't exactly a wide variety just yet, but seriously, the amount of stuff you could do with the face and the body and things is actually really impressive. It's actually like AAA RPG levels. Like, you could really go in depth into what you can do with the faces, or you could just choose a preset if you really want to. But and then of course body presets as well. Of course I went with this one, duh. But yeah, I just wanted to definitely get this in here because it's just really impressive, honestly. And you can change, you know, your body color. Your body can be all sorts of different colors, things like that. Really impressive customization. I mean, as you'd probably expect in a game like this. But yeah, as you can see, we can go fully in depth with you know, the face shape, your face width, upper face depth. You can make her look interesting if we really wanted to. But actually, wow, I was just moving sliders around. She looks okay, actually. But yeah, you guys go. I mean, you could do the same with the body as well. Really impressive amount of customization in a game like this. You know, again, leading back into the idea that they actually care about the game and they want it to be good. So, just wanted to show that off. Sort of leading into that. We're getting into the bad in a moment here, but okay, I'll put it out there. This game needed at least like another year in the bakery. But you know, I don't know what their dev situation is like, right? So maybe they're at the point now where they're like, okay, we could keep developing this behind closed doors, but we really need some public ground to stand on in order to get the funding we need to really get this game going. Because it is an ambitious game. If they get everything going, it could be a really solid game just with big boobs and everything, right? So it could be a really solid game, but it needs a ton of work. And maybe that's how they see it. Like, okay, we need to start making money now to really make this game possible. So I think that might be what we're dealing with here. But talking about that, let's get into the bad. The environments are pretty terrible. The starting environment isn't too bad, but then once you get into some of the quests and stuff, man, they look really terrible. Like, they need a lot of work before they are truly presentable. Not that I hate them, but they're definitely unfinished. A whole lot of placeholders and things like that. And then tagging onto that, there's a whole lot of fetch quests, kill this many people and then go back to the lady, and then, because you pretty much talk to primarily women in this game, surprise, surprise. But yeah, it's just a lot of kill these things, go over there, kill these things, go over there, cutscene, kill these things, go back and forth, and that was unfortunate. Hopefully they get a little more spicy with the quests. Maybe they're just really basic right now because we're in an alpha, but yeah, I'm a little worried that it's probably just going to be fetch quest after fetch quest to level your character up. And then also it has to be said, this happens a lot with smaller indie games. Really bad performance. My friend of the 1660, me with the 1050 Ti, struggling to say the least with the frame rate. It's not great, and some of the visual effects definitely need a lot of work. There's some bugs with that, like the brightness going down for no reason, the bloom illuminating everything around you and things like that. So that does need some work as well. And the animations are super rough. This is what I was talking about with the free movement. All the animations need like hundreds of hours of more work so that they flow into each other well, so that they look a little bit more realistic, things like that. Like, they need a lot of work to feel kinetic, essentially. And I was thinking, if they're able to make it feel like the prototype games or something, that'd be awesome, because you can like fly on top of buildings and stuff and jump up on top of terrain and things like that, like scale terrain and things like that. If they made it feel like prototype, that'd be awesome. I'd be very happy with that. But it's going to take a lot of time to get there. But they do need to work on the animations for sure, because the game does not feel smooth or kinetic at all. And then also there was tons of placeholder areas, like you're meeting up with a quest giver, and it's just like it's just a little opening with like sandbags, and then just like an artillery piece and a generic soldier there. And then there was another one, the first one you get into when you're in the city, it's just like a hill. It's a really poorly, I don't know if you guys played around with CryEngine in Crysis and their sandbox. But yeah, it's basically when you made a piece of terrain with their terrain building tool, like you just put the brush and you just plopped a piece of terrain. That's what one of the bases is like. It's really rough. So that's, again, going back to the whole, this needs like a year or two to be playable. And then another issue I had was it's hard to have your character feel progressed unless you pay some money, because a lot of the cosmetic stuff is just money based. Like, played for a decent amount of hours, not super long, but I played a decent amount, and my character looks exactly the same as when I started. So that's unfortunate. And my abilities are all the same, things like that. So the only way to really feel like, well, not the only way, I could keep playing, and I'm sure eventually I'll start looking a little different. But it is hard to make your character feel like you've progressed unless you start paying some money. And speaking of that, elephant in the room, the adult content is behind lock and key. You can't, as far as I know, you can't see anything unless you pay some money. So, I mean, that's not the end of the world to me. I don't really mind so long as the game's still fun, but yeah, the game's not very fun. I have to say, I think, of course it's a free game. You can just go download it if you want to give it a look. It's only like 8 gigabytes or something. An MMO that's 8 gigabytes, yeah, that it's not done yet. But if you want to download it, go ham. But yeah, you definitely want to give this one a wait, I think, and you definitely want to wait to support them. If their attitude is legit, I do think they are deserving of your support eventually, just not right now. Maybe in a year. I'd like to see a lot of They need a lot of improvements to this game, and get rid of that dirty talk channel in chat, please. It is scary.